A blue dwarf has two definitions. The first definition is that a blue dwarf is a main sequence star. The second definition is a blue dwarf is a hypothetical evolutionary stage of a once m less than 0.25 solar mass red dwarf main sequence star that is hotter, brighter, and bluer than evolutionary paths of more massive red dwarfs on the main sequence of an HR diagram. Let's take a look at the first definition. Normally when we say a blue dwarf, we mean stars that sit on the main sequence that are blue in color. These objects right here. Now, an HR diagram has temperature increasing to the left, and we have luminosity increasing vertically. On this diagram of luminosity and temperature, we place stars where they currently are located today on the diagram. When stars are adults, they're not increasing in size or not decreasing in size. They stay the same size. They fall along this line from upper left to lower right called the main sequence. And we call them all on the main sequence dwarfs depending on the color. So it could be a red dwarf, orange dwarf, yellow dwarf, blue dwarf, and in this case we have a blue dwarf. So we're looking at the blue end of this rainbow colored diagram, and we're looking on the main sequence. So that's the first definition. The second definition is that we're looking at a red dwarf. Not just any red dwarf, but we're looking at the red dwarfs that are m less than 0.25 solar mass red dwarfs. So let's look at all the red dwarfs on the main sequence. They're down here in the box outlined in red. Now of this entire box, we're only looking at the least massive ones, which I'm coloring in this dark burgundy color in a circle. Now the red dwarfs are expected to evolve off the main sequence and turn into subgiants. So the yellow ones will turn into brighter and more luminous subgiants. The oranger ones will also turn into brighter and more luminous subgiants, but not these low mass red dwarfs that I circled in this burgundy color. Instead, these are not expected to turn into subgiants. They just turn into these blue objects as they evolve off. Now, are they going to be blue like the image on the left shows? Probably not. They're probably going to be more like the greenish tint or maybe cyan colored. But the point is, they're aiming in the blue direction. They are getting brighter, just like the regular red dwarfs. They are getting hotter like the regular red dwarfs. But instead of turning into subgiants, turning yellow and orange, they actually are turning more towards the blue color of the rainbow of colors. Will they be blue? Probably not, more like cyan in color. But it's the blue end or the left end of the diagram that gives the name blue dwarf. So there are two definitions for blue dwarf. One is a main sequence star, and the other is a red dwarf that is evolving towards the blue end of the HR diagram as it dies.